So that's a little update on the US market, where it's really impacted by the Trump tariffs 2.0 of his joining back in the White House. But now let's take a look at the latest overview of the S&P 500 index. As of this morning, as you can see, it's a sea of red with spots of green here and there. But as you can see, for Intel, the US President Donald Trump has imposed a new Sunday that the United States had just about ended a suspension. But we're going to look at Intel. As you can see, if we want to look at on the semiconductor as well, we want to start with Microsoft. If you can see that it was down by 3.34% and it stood at 380.16, and Oracle is down by 4.11% and stood at the level of 148.79. That's on the technology, as we can see here. But on Apple, it shows that it was down by 4.85%, and Tesla was about 15.43%. And this is some of the updates on the US market. But on Intel update, US President Donald Trump said on Sunday that the United States had just about ended a suspension of intelligence sharing with Ukraine, and that he expects good results out of upcoming talks with Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia. And he asked if he would consider ending the suspension. Trump said, "We just about have, and we just about have." And CIA Director John Ratcliffe said on Wednesday the US had halted intelligence sharing with Ukraine, piling pressure on Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to cooperate with Trump in convening peace talks with Russia. All right, now on the updates on NVIDIA, I will show it shows the color of red, which it shows it was down by 5.07 and stood at the level around 106.98. And this is the update on NVIDIA. And on the same semiconductor updates on Broadcom, it was down by 5.39% and stood at the level of 184.45. And those are the updates on the semiconductors. But the latest updates on NVIDIA is CoreWeave, an artificial intelligence startup backed by NVIDIA, has signed a 5-year contract worth $11.9 billion with OpenAI ahead of its hotly anticipated stock market launch. And as part of the pact, CoreWeave will provide AI infrastructure to OpenAI, CoreWeave said in a statement on Monday, confirming an earlier exclusive report from Reuters. And the deal will give OpenAI a stake in CoreWeave, which will issue shares worth $350 million to the ChatGPT maker through a private placement at the time of its initial public offering. And that's on the update on NVIDIA. And move on to Apple and Meta. I've explained earlier on Apple, it was down by 4.85 and stood at the level of 227.48. And Meta was down as well by 4.42% and stood at the level of 597.99. And the latest updates on Apple and Meta, these two platforms are set to face modest fines for allegedly breaching landmark rules aimed at reining in their power, people with direct knowledge of the matter said on Sunday. And both companies have been in the European Commission's crosshairs since last year for potential breaches of the Digital Market Act, which could cost companies as much as 10% of their global annual sales. And the act, which may become law in May 2022, seeks to make it easier for people to move between competing online services like social media platforms, internet browsers and app stores, allowing smaller companies to compete with big tech. The EU antitrust enforcer is focused on making sure the companies comply with the law rather than sanctioning them, the sources said, explaining the rationale for modest fines. And move on to Tesla as well. Just a quick update on Tesla. It was down by 15.43%. And the latest update is Elon Musk is running his businesses with great difficulty while working with the Trump administration. And the Tesla CEO said on Monday in an interview with Fox Business. And his remarks followed Tesla losing $130 billion in stock market value in a broad sell-off on Wall Street that left the electric car makers' share at their lowest since October. And Tesla's shares slumped 15% to $222.15, weighing heavily on the Nasdaq, and which tumbled 4% on fears that the Trump administration's tariffs against major U.S. trading partners could throw the country into a recession. And the decline in Tesla's market capitalization on Monday eclipsed $86 billion combined stock market value of Ford Motor and General Motors GM. And that's on the latest updates on the U.S. market as per shared earlier. And you can find this whole discussion on the latest updates on finviz.com, and more updates after this with my colleague Tamina Kausji. So we'll be right back.